नित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञतपः क्रियाः दानक्रियाश्च विविधाः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः सद्भावे साधुभावे च सदित्येतत् प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सञ्चद्धः पार्थ युज्यते यज्ञे तपसि दाने च स्थितिः सदिति चोच्यते कर्म चैव तदात्तीयम् सदित्येवाभिधीयते अश्रद्धया हुतं दत्तं तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत् असदित्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे श्रद्धात्रयविभागयोगो नाम सप्तदशोऽध्यायः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
राम हरे राम 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 हरे
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 हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
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 हरे राम
हरे
राम राम हरे
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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण माताजी।
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Thank you, Mataji, for reciting the 17th chapter very nicely. Vansha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nama. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, assembled devotees ki jai. Hare Krishna, may I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Sukhakar Krishnadas from Chennai. All goes to Prabhupada, all goes to all Guru Maharaj, all goes to Vinita Mataji, Sham Guru Mataji, and all the Matajis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sukaka Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for joining us in the early morning class and again in the mid-morning. Nice to see you, Prabhuji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Pleasure is mine. I'm coming to Goloka now. You know, I'm in Goloka, you're in Goloka.
Hare Bol. You have very nice access to Goloka to Buloka. Every time you come to Goloka and you go to Goloka. That's great,
still
right,
I don't,
Prabhuji? We don't have that access.
Still no taste. I don't come.
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. This is Shama Gauri Devi Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to hear your voice in the mid-morning, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to announce their name? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Shumati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association every single day. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudev. This is Cinmayi Vrajapriya Devi Dasi from Charlotte. And thank you, Mataji, for covering my service today.
Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Mataji. Thank you so much for your association, Mataji. Eagerly waiting to hear from you. So we'll start recording here. It's 10 o'clock. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of Caitanya Bhagavat Madhya Kanda, chapter 19, 28 to 39 verses. Before I hand over the call to Mataji, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for today. December 23rd, Anukarana, Anusarana. There are two Sanskrit words. One is imitation and one is following the footprints. If one tries to follow the footprints of great personalities, that is very nice. But we cannot imitate. Imitation is dangerous. Los Angeles, December 23rd, 1968. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji. Cinmayi Mataji, are you ready? Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this mid-morning and enlightening us on the topic of Caitanya Bhagavat. I now hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Mataji. Not qualified, but I'll do this as a way to purify myself and request everybody to please tolerate me. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas assembled here. Please confer your blessings on me so that whatever I speak will be completely in accord with Srila Prabhupada's words, Srila Gurudev's words, and nothing from my mental concoction should arise in between. This blessing is very important to me, so please confer it. We'll start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanaatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vacharam pangham langhayate girim yatkripātamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna, Matajis and Prabhujis. We are in this 19th chapter. It had a very beautiful beginning. So here the Supreme Lord is visiting various houses of devotees, and he is having a very good time with them. And at that time, our Advaitacharya, he is having certain thoughts. He calls our Mahaprabhu a thief. He says, here comes the thief who is going to give me so much of respect. He is going to clasp my feet and he is going to always show respect to me, and I do not want this from him. I want him to chastise me. I want him to treat me like any other, the way he treats other devotees, and I don't want him to give me any respect. So we have seen again and again and again how Advaitacharya doesn't like to be respected by Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu on various levels, one, Advaitacharya is senior to him by age, and second, he is his Guru Maharaj's god brother. So in various ways, he is always giving lots of respect to Advaitacharya. And then Advaitacharya decides the only way he can make Mahaprabhu chastise him is when he starts talking against devotional service. So deciding this way, along with Haridas Thakur, Advaitacharya goes to Shantipur, and there he starts teaching Mayavad to many people. And actually, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur says Advaitacharya is in ecstasy, but he is externally teaching Mayavad. He is teaching principles from a book called Yoga Vasishtha. And he is talking various things like jnana is more important than devotional service, and one who does not understand jnana is comparable to a person who leaves his wealth at home and then searches for it in the forest. So this way he is propagating jnana, and he says devotional service to Vishnu is like a mirror, but the eyes to see that mirror is jnana. So without jnana, we cannot perform devotional service. So this way he goes on and on. And Haridas Thakur is hearing all these, and he knows the ulterior motive of our Advaitacharya, and he is having a good laugh. And while this is going on, our Mahaprabhu is none other than Paramatma. So he understands what is in Advaitacharya's mind and why is he doing all this. And so he decides to take part in Advaitacharya's plena. So this was what we had read, and we'll continue from today's verses. Text 28 we start. एकदिन नगर भ्रमाए प्रभु रंगे देखाए अपन सृष्टि नित्यानंद संगे. One day the Lord was joyfully wandering about the city, looking at his creation with Nityananda. So the Lord was walking along with our Nityananda Prabhu, and he was looking at his own creation. So how the Lord himself says in Bhagavad Gita Chatushloki, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. So he is the source of everything, of all the spiritual, of the material worlds. Everything emanates from me, he says. And again in Bhagavatam Chatushloki, while he's instructing this to Brahmaji, our Supreme Lord says, Aham evasam evagre na anyad yad sat asat param. So it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself. So this is the Lord's creation himself, and he is just walking around looking at everything and enjoying with Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is none other than his Swayam Prakasha. So, who sees this happening? It is our Brahmaji. Apanare sukriti kariya vidhimane mora shilpa chahe Prabhu sadaya manayane. Brahma considered himself fortunate. The Lord is mercifully looking at my artistic work. So Brahmaji is the secondary creator, and he is considering himself very fortunate that the Supreme Lord is seeing his creation. When Brahma, the creator of the universe, saw that Sri Gaurasundara had incarnated in this world, he considered himself fortunate. Lord Brahma, the engineer of the universe, considered himself fortunate when he realized that he had attained the merciful glance and attention of the Lord. So Brahmaji, when he saw that the Supreme Lord, along with Nityananda Prabhu, the two Supreme Lords, have come and they are glancing at his creation, he considered himself so fortunate. And similarly, we see Mother Ganga, when Nityananda Prabhu and our Mahaprabhu, they take bath in her waters and they perform various sportive pastimes in her water, she considers herself so fortunate. And so this is how devotees consider themselves fortunate that the Supreme Lord, the source of everything, is looking at them. And here Prabhupada Saraswati talks about merciful glance. So we'll talk about a few pastimes where the Supreme Lord has different kinds of glances. So very similar to this pastime, where our Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are walking and looking at their creation and they're glancing at it. Similarly, in our Srimad Bhagavatam also, our Lord Krishna, and along with Lord Balaram, whenever, and their friends, their cowherd friends, they would go in the forests of Vrindavan. They would walk everywhere, leave their lotus footprints on the ground of Vrindavan, their auspicious footprints all around. And on one such event, our Krishna, he glances at the forest, which is so beautiful, which was filled with the charming sound of bees, animals, birds, various kinds of birds. So beautiful sound was coming from the forest. So he was glancing at all that. Lakes were filled with clear waters, and there was gentle breeze which was carrying the fragrance of 100 petal lotuses which were in these lakes. So that fragrance was emanating everywhere. So, and there were trees with their beautiful reddish buds, and these trees had branches which were full of flowers and fruits, and these branches were bending and they were trying to touch the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So looking at this beauty, the Lord, he talks to his brother, our Balram, our Lord Balram, and he says, "Oh, my dear brother, oh my Lord, look how these entities are trying to touch your lotus feet, and they're trying to take your blessings. And getting the blessings of your lotus feet is so rare that even immortal demigods are waiting for it, and they are worshipping your lotus feet, and they're waiting when they will get your glance." So this event was very similar to what we are seeing today. And going further into the various kinds of glances, of course, the first thing which comes to all our mind is during our creation, how Karanadakashayi, lying on the Karana ocean, he, when there is a need to create, he glances at Pradhana, who is the inert material nature. And this glance is none other than Shambhu. And through this glance, through Shambhu, Karanodakashayi Vishnu transfers all the jivas with their swabhavas, with their karmas, kala, everything into Pradhana. So Shambhu, who is a dim reflection of the Lord's glance, he is the Lord of Pradhana, and he embodies the seed of all the living beings, and he takes them into Pradhana, and this is how the creation starts. Then the Pradhana gets agitated, she becomes Mahat Tattva, then the modes become active, and that is how the creation starts. So going further into glance, one more pastime was We have our Narsimhadeva's pastime where we all know that beautiful story full of, it's the whole canto where Hiranyakashipu, he gets very angry with Prahlad Maharaj, that Prahlad Maharaj is teaching devotional service to all his friends and making them nice devotees. So Hiranyakashipu becomes very angry at Prahlad, and he says, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this little 5-year-old boy at that time, even then, standing in front of his huge, very threatening father, glorifies the Supreme Lord. And he says, no, my Supreme Lord is the most powerful. He is all pervading. And then he says how he is asamardhva. Nobody is equal to him. Nobody is superior to him. So you cannot call yourself supreme. So these are the things he challenges his father with. And then his father says, okay, if you're saying your Supreme Lord is all pervading, then is he in this pillar? And Prahlad says, of course he is in this pillar. And then we know how Hiranyakashipu takes his sword and goes to strike the pillar. And at that time, the most beautiful form, Ati Adbhuta Rupam, na mrigam, na manusham. So that beautiful form emerges from the pillar. This Narsimha, who is so angry, so angry, so angry at Hiranyakashipu for torturing his very dear devotee child. And at that time, Prahlad Maharaj says in his prayers later on while pacifying Narsimha, so when the Lord emerged from the pillar, at that time, though he was so angry, he glances at Hiranyakashipu. And that glance itself was so purifying that Hiranyakashipu gets totally purified. That is the power of our Supreme Lord's glance. And moving further into a pastime where the Supreme Lord is similarly angry, but his glance this time doesn't purify anyone, but it agitates some living beings. So this pastime is our Lord Ramachandra. So as he is going in search of Mother Sita, he enters, when he goes to the ocean front, the beach of the ocean, and there our Lord Ramachandra fasts for 3 days. Waiting for the ocean personified to come and give him way. But the ocean personified doesn't come at all. At that time, Lord Ramachandra, he decides to exhibit his pastime of anger. And he merely glances at the ocean. So by the mere glance of our Lord Ramachandra, all the jivas in the ocean, they get agitated. They become so fearful. And there is so much of commotion in the ocean that the ocean personified comes running to the Supreme Lord with all kinds of paraphernalia of worship. He worships the Supreme Lord and begs forgiveness. So these are various pastimes of how the Supreme Lord glances and what are all, how his devotees at various stages are reacting. So one more pastime was Lord Krishna, as a little boy, would go to graze his calves, and he would go with his cowherd friends, and during lunchtime, they would all sit in a very nice pot, usually on the banks of Yamuna or wherever. They would sit in a very nice pot. And how they would sit is, they would the formation would be like a lotus. In the center, like the whorl of the lotus, our Supreme Dear Lord, the little boy Krishna would sit, and all the cowherd boys would sit around him, like just like the petals and leaves of the lotus, they would sit around him. And all these cowherd boys would be looking at Krishna. They would be glancing at Krishna all the time. And they will be waiting for Krishna to look at him. They will think, okay, Krishna is going to look at me now. Krishna is going to look at me now. And this way they will be sharing their food and they will be laughing. They will be joking. And this is such a beautiful pastime where the cowherd boys, who are the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord, are also waiting for the Lord's glance. And lastly, a very beautiful pastime. This is in Srirangam. There was, this is while Ramanujacharya was there was a wealthy merchant by name Dhanurdasa. And this Dhanurdasa, he was madly enchanted with one temple dancer. Her name was Hemambal. And this dancer, she had very, very beautiful eyes. Such beautiful eyes that this Dhanurdasa was totally captivated with her eyes. And most of the times he would be seen carrying an umbrella and walking with her. He would put an umbrella over her head so that the sun doesn't scorch her eyes, and in no way those eyes will get damaged. So one day, this lady, Hemambal, she wanted to take part in the procession of Ranganath. So he takes her and goes. He's as usual with an umbrella carrying, walking with her. And as the procession of the Supreme Lord is coming, all the devotees are so enchanted and they are jumping up and down and they're trying to get one glance of the Supreme Lord. If they can see the Lord at least once, one darshan of the Supreme Lord, they're all waiting and waiting and waiting. But this man, he is showing his back to the Supreme Lord. He is gazing at this woman and holding an umbrella. So our Ramanujacharya sees this and he feels so much of compassion to this soul. He calls him and asks, why are you doing this when the whole world is waiting to see the Supreme Lord? And they're thinking, if we can get one darshan of the Supreme Lord, you are showing your back to the Supreme Lord and looking at this lady. What's going on here? And he says, it is her eyes. They have captivated me. They are so beautiful that I don't want to see anything else. Then Ramanujacharya says, what if I show you eyes which are more beautiful than that woman's eyes? He says it's not possible. He says, come with me, I'll take you. And he takes Dhanurdasa to a temple where our most beautiful Ranganathar is lying. And our Ramanujacharya begs Ranganathar to give his merciful glance on this Dhanurdasa. At that time, our Rangashai gives his glance on Dhanurdasa. And Dhanurdasa, seeing these most beautiful eyes of the Supreme Lord, at once breaks down, and then he decides to surrender himself totally to Ramanujacharya, and he becomes one of a very prominent disciples of Ramanujacharya. So this is about the merciful glance of the Supreme Lord and how various devotees interact with him, with the glance. We'll move on with the verses. Text 30. दुई चंद्र ये न दुई चली ऐसे या नति अनुरूप सबे दर्शन पाया. It appeared that two moons were wandering about, and everyone appreciated their presence according to their surrender. Again, a small commentary by Prabhupada Saraswati. The phrase Dui Chandra refers to Sri Gaurachandra and Nityananda Chandra. The phrase Aise Yaya means coming and going. The phrase Nati Anurupa is explained as follows. Everyone saw Gaura and Nithai differently according to their service propensity. In other words, they saw Gaura Sundara according to the degree of their devotional service. Another reading is Mati Anurupa, which would mean according to their mentality. So here, our Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is calling the two Supreme Lords two moons. Our Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in his Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the beginning, first chapter itself, second verse, he calls them sun and moon. He says, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanandau Sahoditau Gaudodaye Pushpavantau Chitrau Sandau Tamonadau. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction to all. So our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami calls them the sun and moon, whereas Vrindavan Das Thakur is calling them two moons. And the more important part of this verse is how Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying everyone appreciated their presence according to their surrender. So it is ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sthataiva bhajamyaham. It is always with the Lord. How we surrender, how much we surrender, that much He rewards us accordingly. So This we see during the pastimes of Lord Krishna and Lord Balarama when they walk through the streets of Mathura. When they enter Mathura, Akrura gets them and they send Akrura home. Nanda Baba and all the other cowherd men, they have their camp in the outskirts of Mathura. And then the two brothers, they decide to enter the city of Mathura, look around along with their cowherd friends. So this is a very beautiful chapter where the two brothers are walking and they interact with various people, and each of them will interact in different ways, and the lords will reciprocate with them in different ways. So we see how the ladies of Mathura react. So these ladies of Mathura, they have been hearing stories of Krishna Balarama from a very long time from the residents of Vrindavan, and they have heard all their pastimes, and their desire to see them is like at the topmost, and their separation from them, it's killing them. So they are all so anxious, and when they hear that those two boys have entered their city, they are mad in ecstasy. So some women climb the rooftops to see them, and some women, they were cooking, they just leave their cooking and run. Some women were dressing themselves, so they wear their garments back upside down, they change it and they just run. And they were decorating themselves with half the jewelries they run. And some ladies were serving their husbands, they just drop that and run. And this is how they all are so eager to see the two Supreme Lords. And when they see them, they forget, they come rushing to see the Supreme Lord. And they forget all their unlimited distress which was in their heart caused by the separation of the two Supreme Lords. And they embrace the two Supreme Lords in their heart. So this is how the ladies of Mathura responded to them. The Brahmanas, they get their worshipable paraphernalia, everything, and they worship the Supreme Lord with various offerings, and they offer their obeisances to them. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Then we know the story of the washerman who was so arrogant. He was the washerman of Kamsa, and he insults Krishna by saying, "You are boys from the forest. What do you know about good dresses? I can't give you these dresses." And how does Krishna respond to them? He is so angry. Here, he is called the son of Devaki. With his just fingertips, he separates the head from the body of that washerman. And later on, we know how a weaver comes, and he's pouring affection to them, and he weaves various ornaments which will go well with the dresses they have on, and he gives it to them. And then finally we know how Sudama responds. The flower garland, the garland maker Sudama, he welcomes the two brothers and all the cowherd boys and worships them. He gives them arghya, sandalwood pulp, flowers. He worships them very nicely. He honors each one of them with his best flower garlands, and he recites beautiful prayers. And we know how Kubja responds. So with Kubja was Trivakra. She was a hunchback, and she was deformed in various places. And she was a maid servant to Kamsa, and she would carry fine ointments to him every day. And when Krishna asks, "Can you give your ointment to us?" she says, "Who else but you two deserve my finest ointment?" And she personally applies the ointments on them. And her mind gets overwhelmed by Krishna's beauty, charm, sweetness, smile. And we know how the Lord responds to her. He immediately makes her get rid of all these deformities, and he promises her later on he will come and take her services. And similar pastime where we see Nimai as a Pandita, Nimai Pandita also wanders through Navadvipa, and he reciprocates with various personalities, and how each one of them, they would get captivated by this Nimai's beauty, and they would just offer whatever was in their capacity and not expect anything. Like they would not expect any sort of payment or anything. So we know how from a weaver, Nimai accepted clothes without paying him. And then when he would meet a group of cowherd men, he would take yogurt and milk from them. And he would say how in his previous birth he was a cowherd boy. And when there was a merchant selling perfumes, that merchant would give him perfumes with so much of loving gesture. And the florist would give him garlands. A conch merchant would give him conch and offer his obeisances. So this way we see how Nimai Pandit also would go out in Navadvip and reciprocate with various personalities. So here our Nityananda Prabhu and our Mahaprabhu, they are walking, and everybody is appreciating them just according to their surrender. Now we'll see further verses. अंतरिक्षे था की सबा देखे देव गण दुई चंद्र देखी सबे गणे मन माना. All the demigods watched from the outer space. On seeing the two moons, various thoughts went through their minds. So the demigods are also seeing from outer space this beautiful pastime of the two supreme lords walking together. आपन लोके रहैला वसुमति ज्ञान चांदा देखी पृथ्वी रे हैला स्वर्ग भाना. On seeing the presence of the moon like lords, they considered their planets to be the earth and earth to be heaven. The demigods considered their respective abodes to be earth and earth to be heaven. On seeing the two moon-like lords, Gaurachandra and Nityananda Chandra, their vision was bewildered as by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. So they are getting confused, the demigods, because they're seeing two moons. They're saying we have always had only one moon. So what is happening? So maybe what we are seeing is not the earth, whereas it is heaven or maybe a higher planetary system, and our heaven has become the earth now. नरज्ञान अपनरे सबर जन्मीला चंद्रेरा प्रभावे नरे देव बुद्धि नहिला. By the influence of the moon-like lords, they considered themselves to be human beings and human beings to be demigods. The demigods began to consider themselves as less powerful human beings, and they considered the human beings who were refreshed by the rays of the two moons, Gaura and Nithai, to be superior to themselves. So here Prabhupada Saraswati says the humans were refreshed by the rays of the two moons, our Gaurachandra and Nithai Chandra. So the demigods were thinking the human beings to be some superior beings because they were among our two moons, our Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. So here I was thinking of Mahaprabhu's pastime where he travels through South India. So I'll bring the connection. Mahaprabhu, when he began his South India trip, he starts traveling and he is reciting Krishna, 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 Hey, Krishna, 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 Hey, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Raksha pahi mam, Krishna 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 Raksha mam, Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava pahi mam, Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Raksha mam. So this way our Mahaprabhu is traveling through the cities, villages, towns, whatever, and whoever hears this chanting of the Supreme Lord, they are immediately purified and they start chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then Mahaprabhu goes further. He embraces people as he is walking. And whomever he embraces, he invests certain spiritual potency in that person. So that individual, this empowered person becomes mad with ecstasy. He becomes mad with Krishna Prema. And this empowered person, when he goes to his village, whomever he sees, he asks them to chant and they become mad with Krishna Prema. And again, those people go somewhere else. And this way, Krishna Prema was being spread everywhere. So whomever one person Mahaprabhu empowers, and that person was capable. So much of empowerment was given by Mahaprabhu that they were capable of spreading Krishna Prema to so many unlimited number of individuals. So this way it was multiplying. So this way Mahaprabhu flooded the entire region, entire South India with Krishna Prema. Now, this rare opportunity was not seen anywhere else. Anywhere else it was not seen. So, in fact, even in Srila Guru Maharaj says, even in Navadvip, Mahaprabhu did not reveal this kind of mercy. That kind of mercy was given, and all the human beings were bestowed with Krishna Prema. So when the demigods were thinking that these human beings are superior to them, of course, the demigods are superior to human beings when it comes to so many things, the lifespan, their powers, and their sense enjoyment, everything. But this one quality, because of that, their thought was not wrong. The human beings at that time were blessed with Krishna Prema by Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu did not confer this rare opportunity to the demigods too. So the demigods, in their illusion or whatever, they were thinking that human beings were superior to them, and they were somewhere in the higher planetary systems, and they were and the demigods were in earth. Now we will continue. दुई चंद्र देखी सबे करे न विचारा कभू स्वर्गे नाही दुई चंद्र अधिकारा. On seeing the two moons, they thought, we have never seen two moons together in heaven. There is only one moon in heaven. There is no question of two moons at the same time. Therefore, the earth is a heaven superior to heaven. So this is what they were thinking. खोन देवा बले सुना वचन अमारा मूल चंद्र एक एक प्रतिबिंब आरा. And then one of the demigods said, listen to my words. One is the original moon and the other is a reflection. So here our Prabhupada Saraswati says, the Swayam Rupa Lord Krishna Chandra is the original moon, and Swayam Prakasha Baladeva is his manifestation. In Laghu Bhagavata Amrita, it is stated, Anekatra Prakatata Rupasyaikasya Yaikada Sarvatha Tat Swarupaiva Saprakasha Itiryate. If numerous forms, all equal in their features, are displayed simultaneously, such forms are called Prakasha Vigrahas of the Lord. So we know how the Lord expands. The Lord's expansions are mainly Swayam Rupa, Tadekatma Rupa, and Avesha Rupas. The Swayam Rupa is Krishna himself as a Gopa in Vrindavana. That is the Swayam Rupa, Krishna himself. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And then Swayam Rupa Krishna will expand to Swayam Prakasha. So this Swayam Prakasha is Krishna's personal manifestations. Swayam Prakasha forms can be of two types. They can be Prabhava Prakasha forms or Vaibhava Prakasha forms. Prabhava Prakasha forms are Krishna himself expanding. Okay, numerous forms are displayed simultaneously and they're all equal in features. And the most prominent examples are when Krishna expanded himself for Rasalila. With every gopi, Krishna was present. Unlimited forms. And then in Dwaraka, Krishna expands himself into 16,108 forms every day to have his pastimes with each of his queen. And then in the morning, when he goes to his Swadharma hall, assembly hall, all these forms will again come back into Krishna. So these are the Prabhava Prakasha forms. Prabhava Prakasha forms. And Vaibhava Prakasha forms are forms which are differently manifested. with different emotions and sometimes different features. So here comes our Baladeva. Baladeva is white in color and his mood is different. His emotion is servitor. And another example here is Vasudeva Krishna, who is the son of Devaki. He exhibits Kshatriya qualities. Okay, so there are this forms go on and on. I just said which was in relation to Prabhupada Saraswati's purport. So this is how Swayam Rupa Krishna is with his Swayam Prakasha Baladeva. Kona deva balehena bhujina bhujina rayana bhagyeva chandrera vidhi karila yojana. Another demigod said, I think that out of our good fortune, Lord Narayana has provided us with two moons. One of the demigods said, perhaps because of our good fortune, Narayana has blessed us with two moons simultaneously today. Keha bale pita putra eka rupa ya he na bujhi eka buddha chandre ratanaya. And one more demigod said, the father and son are one. I think one is Mercury, the son of moon. So they're thinking, well, Buddha, Mercury is the son of moon, right? So they're thinking moon and Buddha both are walking together. And Prabhupada Saraswati explains here, he says, according to the Vedic statement, Atmavai Jayate Putraha, a man is born as his own son. There is a similarity between the father and his son. Mercury is the son of the moon and therefore as good as his father. Perhaps of these two moons, one is the son of the other. So this way they are thinking of the two moons, maybe one is father, son, and the other is Mercury's son. Mercury, his son. So वेदे नरे निश्चयिते ये प्रभुर रूपा ताहते ये देवा मोहे ये नहे kautuka. It was not at all wonderful that the demigods were bewildered by the Lord's form, which even the Vedas cannot ascertain. So the demigods were bewildered completely. What's happening? Our two moons walking, is one the father, one the son, or is Narayana giving us two moons together? Or this way they went on, and so Vrindavan Thakur is saying they were totally bewildered by the Lord's form, and even the Vedas cannot ascertain the Lord's form for sure. And for this, our Prabhupada Saraswati says, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, it is stated, Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Amrisha. So, it is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. So demigods were getting bewildered by the Lord's form, and it is being compared to just the way one can see representations of water in fire, or one can see land in water. So demigods being bewildered by the Supreme Lord is not unusual. We know some pastimes, right? We have our Mohini Murti pastime where the Lord Shiva, he's a topmost demigod, he's even higher than demigod. He was bewildered. So we know how during the Samudra Manthan, when the nectar started coming out, the Supreme Lord assumes the most beautiful Mohini Murti form, and he comes out to just delude the demons so that he can take the nectar away from them and distribute it to the demigods. So when Lord Shiva heard this pastime, he was very curious. He wanted to see the Supreme Lord, Supreme Lord himself is so beautiful. If he can transform himself into a more beautiful form, Shiva wanted to see it. Lord Shiva is the topmost Vaishnava, so he wanted to see that form. So he, along with his wife Bhavani, they go to the Supreme Lord and they ask him, and Lord Shiva begs our Supreme Lord, can you please show me that form? And our Lord, he expands his energy and manifests as an extraordinarily beautiful woman. And seeing this extraordinarily beautiful form of our Supreme Lord, even that topmost Vaishnava got bewildered. And he starts running behind Mohini Murti. And then we have one more pastime where the next topmost demigod, Brahmaji, he was also bewildered. That is our Brahma Vimohan Leela. So here, as I said in the beginning, how the Supreme Lord would sit in the center for his, when they would have lunch in the forest with his cowherd friends. He would sit in the center like the whorl of the lotus, and all the cowherd boys would be around him. So this way they would have lots of fun. And the demigods would be seeing this from their upper planetary systems. And one day, our Supreme Lord is sitting, and in his left hand, left palm, he has a lump of rice, which is mixed with yogurt, butter, and fruit salad. Okay. And he's having in his left hand, and he's chatting with all his friends and having fun. Looking at this form of the Supreme Lord, our Brahmaji, who is the secondary creator of this universe, he got bewildered because Krishna is Yajna Bhuk, and he couldn't understand how that a supreme form who accepts the offerings through yajna could sit among cowherd boys and take the rice and yogurt and share it with his friends and eat, take food from them and share his food with them. So Brahmaji could not understand this and he got bewildered. And we know how he stole the calves, then he stole the cowherd boys, and finally he repented and rendered beautiful prayers. So demigods getting bewildered by the Lord's form is not surprising. And nobody can understand the Lord in complete. So coming to the last verse for today. He namate nagara brahmaye dui jana nityananda jagannatha mishreranandahana. In this way, Nityananda and the son of Jagannath Mishra wandered about the city. So with this, we complete today's verses. Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Devotees, please forgive me for all the mistakes I've done. I'm sure I've made a lot of mistakes. Please correct those mistakes and please give me, share your realizations. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo. Thank you all, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for the beautiful, beautiful class. Very grateful to you. All the different pastimes you have taken us, Krishna Leela, Chaitanya Leela, Rama Leela, and even Shiva. You talked about Mohini Avatar. Everything you covered, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was very beautiful. It was no philosophy, just katha. Pleasing to hear, Mataji. I like katha only. Because my brain is very short. I cannot take philosophy. I will not understand any philosophy.
No need, Mataji.
Even though it is repeated 100 times, it won't go into my head. If you say me katha, I will sit and nicely hear like a small kid. That's super.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank
I
you
love
so much,
kathas.
Mataji, for such a beautiful, beautiful class. Very grateful to you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
I like all the pastimes of how Krishna glancing at every devotee. That's very beautiful, Mataji. So many pastimes. And also Rama glancing at Samudra with anger. That's also very beautiful, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I see the chat box is having some realizations. A wonderful class. This is our Flavia Mataji, and Neetu Mataji is also saying beautiful class. Sumi Mataji, everybody is thanking Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Anybody want to share their realization? Is it Praladanand Prabhu? Praladanand Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Danvat Pranam to all, and Danvat Pranam to Mataji also. Very nice discourse about all the different pastimes of the Lord. And the slok which comes to my mind is about Vidurji asking question to Maitreyi in the third canto. He says that, we are all trying for happiness in this material world, but at the end we get, distress only. So what is the solution? So then solution, Maitreyi gives this beautiful, so he says, Asesa sankle samam vidatte gunanuva sravanam murare. Anyone who lends his ears to hearing Krishna Katha, which you have so nicely displayed today, all the different pastimes. Asesa sankles, all the sankles, all the distress, Asses, unlimited of you and me, we are all suffering this material world. Asses samam vidatte. They're completely vanquished when you lend your ear to hearing this Krishna Katha, which you so nicely described today. So thank you for this beautiful narration, Mama. And I beg your, Danvat Pranam to you, all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for your blessings. And if something was pleasing to you, it's all Guru Maharaj's mercy, Prabhu. That is all. I am nobody, Prabhu. I have nothing. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your blessings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranams. Always to Shishi Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada. Such a beautiful class, Mataji, with so many pastimes and so many realizations. Thank you for the beautiful class, Mataji, as always. Hare Krishna. I don't have any specific questions, but thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Suksagri Mataji. Thank you for encouraging me. And thank you for always being there, Mataji. Really appreciate it. You're so good in scriptures. You're very good in your Shastric knowledge. I know that, Mataji. Thank you so much. Sushilpa Mataji. Vinita Mataji, you're muted.
Sorry, Mataji. So Shilpa Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Dandavat Pranam, devotees. Mataji, this is my first time joining your class and on the whole very Chaitanya Charitamrita reading as well. All glories to Bhakti Sanga Japa conference call for setting all these calls, keeping us engaged, connecting to God. So all glories. And regarding the class, I liked it very much, Mataji. One point that I really liked, which I want to thank you for explaining, is in the shloka where you explain, and as it is said, God, Krishna would be reciprocating according to one who reaches as per his sincerity as well as character. These two were the points. If I have misspoken, please correct me. As per the sincerity and as per the character, right? Usually we hear with respect to devotees, it's as per the sincerity. The more sincere and the more love we reach Krishna, accordingly he would reciprocate. Here, reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, as per the character also is coming in. That is something new that I heard today. If you would like to add more on how to understand to what I hear from Vaishnavas, if I ask a question on how do I know my original position and so forth, that is as per, again, sincerity. Sincerely, I try to engage myself in Krishna Katha, and then Krishna's mercy, ultimately I would get to know my position with Krishna. Right? Is that the only way I should understand, or if you can please add more to the character part of it. Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji, a character means what are you saying, Mataji? Actually, I didn't understand fully. By character, what do you mean? How
In
I
the
behave?
shloka, in the
Vinita
shloka, you were
Mataji.
yeah, please go ahead, Mataji. Vinita Mataji.
I was thinking mood of a devotee. Is that that's
Oh.
what you are point outing, Mataji, if I'm not wrong?
I'm not sure, Mataji. I wanted to know more about the word character. The way in the shloka I thought in the shloka
Character. Appreciated their presence according to their surrender, it came. And Prabhupada Saraswati also says, everyone saw Gaura and Nitai differently according to their service propensity. In other words, they saw according to the degree of their devotional service. As Mataji said, maybe mood is what you were thinking, Mataji.
Okay.
Or how I do my services that way.
Okay. So it's only devotional service mentioned in the purport. Sorry, I thought I heard both the devotional service, which is sincerity, and character also. Maybe I heard it wrong, Mataji. Sorry about that. Yeah. Thank you. So
No,
it's
Mataji, don't feel sorry or anything. No, Mataji, never. We are all learning. No, I was thinking if I missed something. That's all. Sorry about that.
yeah, no worries, Mataji.
It also mentions mentality, like the
mentality.
attitude, the attitude towards service, like anukulena Krishna anusevanam should help, I guess.
Nice.
Okay, so endeavor as well as the mood of the endeavor while doing the service, the mood, as Mataji was mentioning, of devotion.
Mataji, mood and how, like, am I doing this to please Krishna? That should be the basic thought. Like the basic idea behind our devotional service should be serve Krishna to please Krishna, rather than taking anything from him. It's not, we should not treat him like a warehouse supplier or something. That's what Prabhupada says. I do my service just to get benefits from him. No, I serve Krishna favorable to him, and I reject things which are not favorable.
Got it, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hopefully, yes. Suksagri Mataji, please add more, or anybody can add. You know, you all know I am a neophyte. I'll always be a neophyte. Can never. Please, whoever wants to answer Mataji, you're all more than welcome.
I heard
Yes,
something like
Prahlada
character.
Prabhu wants to say yes.
Yeah, please, Prabhu.
Dhamma Pranam Mataji, I understand that this question was regarding Swarup Siddhi. Is that connection there? I understand. Because what I understand is that each and every one of us who are conditioned in material world, we have a Swarup Rasa with Lord Sri Krishna in the spiritual sky, but we have forgotten. As Rushabdev Maharaj also said, Gata Smriti Vindate Tatra Tapan Asadya Maithuna Magaram Agna. We are all Agna, we have come to this Maithuna Magaram because we have forgotten our that Swarupa. A Swarupa Siddhi is now realizing what exact relation which I have forgotten with Lord Sri Krishna in his service. So we know all these 4 rasas and the secondary rasas also, like 7 of them, like that. But which one is the one which I have forgotten from Lord Sri Krishna? And this is very difficult for us to discern on our own by doing service. So that's why Bhakta Rasamrita says, Ata Sri Krishna Namadina Bhavet Grayam Indrehi Swayavam Mukhai Jivadu Swayam Yeg Spuratyada. So we can know Swarup Siddhi by one way is by doing sincere service, and it will be revealed by Paramatma in our heart. That's one. And number 2 is our Guru. When he's pleased, when he's satisfied, he can also reveal to us. These are the 2 things which I know about how I can realize my original Swarup Siddhi through doing this. So this was kind of my realization about what Mataji asked. Thank you very much again, Mata. Very good.
Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice answer. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Mataji, did you get it, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prahlad. Prabhu. Mataji will end. Mataji, Vinita Mataji. Thanks to all the Matajis who blessed me in the chat. Vinita Mataji will end. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Is there any more questions? Anybody having any more questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, we can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Mataji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Har Grace
Jai.
Cinmayi Vrajapriya Mataji ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
Hare
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
Krishna
you everyone.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Oh, sorry, Mataji, there are two more chat messages I forgot to read. One is Yashimati Mataji saying it's a very beautiful class and so many beautiful pastimes. And also Shivani Mataji is saying beautiful class and beautiful pastimes. Hare. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Such a sweet person, sweet.